Thank you for staying with us. The news continues in Southern Africa, where Malawi and Israel have recently signed a deal to send about 3,000 Malawian unskilled laborers to work in firms and industries in Israel. These workers are said to be replacing Palestinian who used to work for Israel before war started between Israel and Palestine. And this will not be the first batch to be sent to Israel. In November, the first group of Malawians traveled to the Jewish state to start working in the country's agricultural sector. According to the Malawian government, this deal is to help generate more foreign exchange revenue. Moreover, the Israel Builders Association will be visiting Malawi to recruit over 80,000 construction workers. Through this deal in February 2024, about $735,000 was transferred to Malawi. And to talk about this, I'm joined by an independent analyst, Mavuto Bhamusi. Good afternoon from here. Glad to have you join me.
Good afternoon. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. Now, my first question to you is why Malawi? Why is Malawi agreeing or signing up for this deal for them sending unskilled workers to Israel?
Well, Malawi is taking desperate steps. We can call these desperate measures towards fulfilling some of the promises that government has made towards improving the welfare of young people. So this is coming back on the heels of political promises. It is also coming at a time when the cost of living in Malawi continues to skyrocket. The Malawi economy is suffering some of its worst times, especially after a massive, huge 44% devaluation of the local currency, the Malawi kwacha. Again, a little background is that a few days ago, the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Malawi went to Israel with a high-level government delegation to negotiate this particular labor deal between Malawi and Israel. So what is coming out currently is that now, yes, over 3,000 Malawians are part of this deal. Is such that over 3,000 Malawians that work in Israel, in the farms, in the agriculture sector. But the detail in as far as this particular agreement, bilateral agreement between Malawi and Israel, the details are very, very sketchy.
Just to follow up there, regarding the delegation sent to Israel from Malawi. Now, we understand there was a delegation that went, from Malawi to Israel upon this agreement. And then the laborers complained they were unhappy with the employers. I mean, if they are unhappy, why then is more batches being sent down to Israel? What's the concerns regarding the security, before even security, the welfare of these unskilled laborers?
Well, like I said in my preamble, this represents a policy dilemma on the part of Malawi government. It represents a sense of desperateness on the government, because the government promised to create 1 million jobs, especially targeting young people. And perhaps this explains why there is this insistence on the part of Malawi government to continue sending young people to Israel. Now, the challenge which is there is that civil society organizations, just a couple of days ago, actually this same week, a number of civil society organizations petitioned the Malawi government to explain the contents of this particular agreement. But also civil societies in Malawi are worried about some reports that are coming out of Israel of human rights abuses and the shrinking labor conditions which some young Malawians have reported encountering in Israel. But from the diplomatic point of view, it should also be understood that Malawi wants to impress Israel, because in this particular week or so, Malawi has officially opened a diplomatic mission, an embassy in Tel Aviv. And it would be important to remember that the initial decision by the Malawi president, announced by President Lazarus Chakwera of Malawi, was to open this particular diplomatic mission in Jerusalem. So it speaks volumes about the kind of diplomatic ties which the current leadership, political leadership in Malawi would like to strengthen with Israel. So the labor export deal, I think, and many Malawians believe, is one of the actions which Malawi would like to take as part of the diplomatic actions. However, the level of desperateness, the high levels of poverty in Malawi, rising cost of living, I talked about the massive devaluation of the kwacha, is pushing many youths in Malawi to accept anything that is going to offer them, even as little as they can get.
Having said that, Mavuto, what are your thoughts on the issue of salaries? According to a statement by the Malawian government, that no salary will be paid to Israel by hand. Is this not a violation of human rights? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it is an issue that is worrying, as I said, many civil society groups, because on the list of the allegations of human rights violations, precisely is this issue about the mode of payment of salaries to these youths. So apparently, what is coming out is that the workers themselves are not going to see this money, so to speak. It is not going to land into their accounts, so to speak. But we should also remember that they are middlemen, or they are brokers, middle institutions that are standing in between of the workers and the Malawi government. So it appears that it is these brokers which are going to cut off a bigger part of their pay, and precisely maybe that is why the minister of Foreign Affairs in Malawi, together with the Minister of Information, have emphasized that they are not going to disclose the contents of this labor agreement. They actually say that they are only going to reveal only a part of what is contained in the agreements. Perhaps
now,
but
just to chip in, apologies for cutting you short. Just to quickly chip in there, Mavuto, we've seen more and more countries waking up to the call to be a savior, so to speak, to Israel. We understand Kenya will be joining soon. What picture does this paint about Africa, knowing the war going on between Israel and Gaza?
Well, precisely, let us talk about the situation in sub-Saharan Africa. It really paints a picture that countries in south of the Sahara are so desperate to take any steps that is going to bring even the little money that they would get, regardless of the conditions in Israel. Because you know as much as I do that there is a war in Israel. There is so many harsh things happening in Israel. And so why would Malawi, Kenya, and others still insist on sending their young people to such a war-ridden country? So for me, my view is that this speaks volumes of the levels of poverty in Malawi, in Kenya, and in many other parts of Africa. What I think that leaders in African countries should seriously do is to come up with sustainable programs that can indeed lift young people out of poverty. Because sending young people to Israel, for me and for many groups that I know, we think that this is not a sustainable solution to ending poverty that is affecting many young people in Africa.
Thank you so much for your insight on the news. Mavuto Bhamusi, an independent analyst. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.